Hey everyone, so in this video I'm going to show you how to construct a turn 1 defense team, and how I'm going to define a turn 1 defense team is a defense team that can rush on the first turn that it takes, and I'm going to be constructing this team as if you don't have Dr. Stevens, mainly because I don't have Dr. Stevens, so I couldn't construct this type of team with one, even if I wanted to. Don't forget everyone to like and subscribe to my channel for more content and information. Now, I don't know if this is exactly common knowledge or not, but a defensive team gets a 1.4 times AP boost to all natural AP that it gains. And by natural AP, I mean AP coming from attacking. So this excludes all unnatural AP gain, so like 8% and 20% AP weapons, as well as unnatural AP gainers like Dr. Stevens or Michelle's active skill, and so on. So the way my turn 1 defense team functions, I need to run two 8% AP weapons on my two yellow commanders. So I'm putting those on to Maggie and Nick, and then on my Arav, I'm giving himself a 20% AP weapon to self, which you could have gotten in the Condemna roadmap event, as well as in 4-star weapon tokens. So this first defensive team that I constructed is pretty much exactly what I do run on my defense against some teams in War, but not always. So the first film clip that I'm going to show you is just going to be proof of concept so that you guys can see that my team can rush on the first turn without me attacking any of the tunes on the defensive team. And a lot of this construction of a team just has to do with understanding how 8% AP weapons work, 20% AP weapons work, and how tunes on defense function. So the 1.4 times multiplier on defense plays a huge factor into allowing, in this case, my Arav to rush on the first turn. Right now my Arav is only T3, so he's not maxed out and his weapon still needs to be upgraded more. So that was just to show you that it is possible to get him to rush on the first turn. So to show you this AP, I'm just showing you this defense team on attack, and you can see my Arav is actually short on AP for attack, but has enough AP on defense for the turn 1 rush. Because I don't have an AP lead for my offensive Arav, it means that he only gets the AP from his weapon, which is a huge bonus. So a tune on a normal attack will gain 20 AP, and a huge bonus will give an extra 10. So that's 30 AP a turn, plus the 20% to self, as well as the two 8% weapons. So on defense, the 30 AP that Arav gets from attacking with a basic attack is actually multiplied by 1.4, which means he gains 42 AP whenever he attacks. The 20% AP to self gives an additional 14 AP, and the two 8% AP weapons give an additional 6 AP each. And 42 AP plus 12 AP from the two 8% weapons equals 54 AP plus 14 equals 68 AP, which is 2 AP above what Arav needs in order to rush. Now, since many free-to-play players still don't have S-Class Mercer, an alternative that you can use is Angel as a lead, because Angel applies that 40% defense to your whole team, which will actually help your Arav stay alive longer. It dazes the opponent so there's no turn 1 active skills, which makes it harder to control a tune like Arav, because now you're focusing on using stun weapons, impair on attack, or being able to rush before the other team can, which is also very difficult to do. You can see that on defense I am currently running Princess, and she isn't a necessary tune for this team. Say you only had one yellow command tune, you could use another yellow tune in place of Princess and have an 8% AP weapon on them as well, and then run an off-trait commander. By having two command tunes, it just means you have more options in case the opponent tries to take out your one command tune, but is not able to take out or control the second one. It still gives you the option to actually rush on that first turn. And because you can't control how your defense works, you have to have a very in-depth understanding of your team and the different tunes and components for it. You also have to understand what your team's weaknesses might be. Also, for those who are curious, you could run a blue tune with a 20% AP to self as well. The only example that I'm going to show right now is Cole, just because he has an active taunt, but if he's dazed at the start, he still can rush on the first turn if he gets an attack off. Now, in this case, I haven't dazed the opponent, so Cole can still use his active skill, but because he has the same type of weapon as Arav, and they both need 66 AP in order to rush, they both have the potential to rush on the first turn. And I found that to be pretty effective because most people don't expect a Cole to rush on the first turn, seeing as his active skill is what the AI favors to use. But let's say you daze the opponent, and in this case, I'm going to use my defensive team on offense again, Angel lead. I'm attacking the commander first. We see that Arav is command rush to start, and then we're going to see that Cole is also command rushed. So even though he can't use his active skill to taunt the enemy, he's able to rush and taunt the enemy as well as decrease their attack. Now, there are lots of different tunes that you could use instead of Cole, and specifically for this team, you would need to have one that is at 66 AP. If you have a tune at 76 AP, you need a third yellow 8% AP weapon. So in this case, I'm going in with a free-to-play attack team. I'm using Joshua with a 20% AP to self and a huge bonus to AP when attacking. So again, that's 42 AP when he ends up attacking. The 20% to self gives 16 AP, and each of the 3 8% AP weapons gives 7 AP. So that's 21 AP plus 16 equals 37 plus 42 equals 79 AP, which is more than enough in order to rush, since Joshua is a 76 AP tune. Now, Joshua could be replaced with any number of 76 AP tunes of either blue or yellow, and I specify blue or yellow because you need that 20% to self in order to get the tune to rush. And that's only if you don't have Dr. Stevens, because Dr. Stevens makes AP gaining a lot easier with his 60% AP to 2 other tunes. Now, another option that you could use on defense, and I'm sure you guys have all seen teams like this, are offensive defensive teams, but as long as you run 3 8% AP weapons on a defensive team and have a huge bonus to AP leader, so in this case Priya gives a huge bonus to AP to all ranged tunes as well as plus 50% attack, you can have a turn 1 defense team that is very aggressive. Now, the downside to a team like this is obviously the HP and defense is quite low because you have an attacking lead, but if your team can survive the first attack, then you're going to be golden moving forward because you're attacking with such power that the enemy is just going to blow up. So I showed you weapons before. There's 3 8% AP weapons, a huge bonus to AP to self, and as I mentioned before, in the last couple teams, it was a huge bonus to AP just on the weapon, but by having a huge bonus to AP coming from the leader tune, it increases the base 30 AP to plus 40 if it was from an attacking team. On a defensive team, that's times 1.4, which gives 56 AP from a basic attack. And each 8% AP weapon for a 76 AP tune gives 7 additional AP, and 7 times 3 is 21. 21 plus 56 equals 77 AP, which is 1 AP over the amount that it takes for a tune like Priya to rush. And in this case, I ran Mercer as well. Him being a 66 AP tune, he was easier to rush than Priya. In the case where I do nothing and I just defend with my team to give myself a big defensive bonus, we can see that both Princess and Priya are able to rush on the first turn, which can truly be devastating for the attacker. Now, some of you may think these defensive teams are pretty easy to beat, but some of them can also be quite tanky, and you can sometimes come across some very unique builds, especially when there's bide tunes or payback tunes on the defensive side, so even if you make a turn 1 rushing team, you could end up triggering them. Triggering a bide tune is a lot more circumstantial and a lot more difficult because the opponent could just end up killing the bide tune outright, and the bide tune can only release 3,000 damage back onto the attacking team. So it's a lot more difficult to control, but conventionally the type of team that you want to make to counter these turn 1 defense teams, and this is just my method, put your payback tune in line with a human shield. That way you're directing where the attack is going. So in the case of Arav, you know Arav would be firing down that straight line, or Princess even, and that would cause payback to trigger, reflecting back the same amount of damage onto the attacking tune as well as 2 additional enemies. I also like having Pete on the attack team, but not as the leader, because you don't accidentally want to give your payback team too much defense, because the amount of damage you take is related to the opponent's attacking power and your defense. So I know what I just said is contrary to some of the things that are implemented in the video, but it was community content that was sent to me, so I'm very appreciative of Rob for sending that to me. Anyway, thank you everyone for watching and listening to my video.